Imagine you have a magic candy jar. The jar refills itself, so every time you take a handful of candy, more candy just appears in the jar. Candy all the time. Sounds pretty great, right? With the magic candy jar, the candy is sustainable. That means that you can keep using it for a long time without it running out. It doesn't matter how much you take out of the jar, because more candy will just appear. It's magic. But in the real world, we don't have magic candy jars like that. If you keep taking candy out of a real candy jar and never put any more back in, the jar will eventually become empty. Taking candy out of the regular jar without putting any more candy back in is not a sustainable practice. You can't keep doing it for a long time because the jar will run out of candy. Sustainability isn't just about candy jars. In this lesson, we'll talk about how the idea of sustainability applies to the environment. If you think about the two candy jars again, the world is like a regular candy jar that doesn't refill itself. But instead of candy, the earth is full of natural resources. Natural resources are things that people find in nature and use. One example of a natural resource is water. Humans didn't make water, but we use it for drinking, bathing, and other things. Another natural resource is oil. We dig oil up from the earth and use it to make fuel for cars and trucks. Natural resources are like candy in the regular candy jar. There's no magic replacement if they're destroyed or used up. If we live in a way that destroys or uses up all our natural resources, it's not sustainable. It's like taking candy out of the jar without putting any more in. Let's review the main characteristics of resources that aren't sustainable. They can be destroyed. For example, if we let poisonous chemicals get into all our water, we wouldn't have any left to drink. They can be used up. For example, we have a limited amount of oil. Once we use all the oil, we can't get any more. Right now, the way we live isn't sustainable. We couldn't keep doing it for a long time. For example, we use a lot of oil for fuel. But we can't keep doing that because we're going to run out of oil. Using oil for fuel also pollutes our air and water. If we keep using it, we won't have clean air to breathe or clean water to drink. Sustainability means using natural resources in a way that we could keep doing for a long time. We can be more sustainable by reducing our use of natural resources. This is like taking less candy out of the jar. For example, you could ride a bike instead of driving, which uses less oil. We can also help restore natural resources. This is like putting some candy back into the jar. For example, you could help clean up pollution in a river or plant trees to increase oxygen for us to breathe. In this lesson, you learned about sustainability. When a natural resource is sustainable, it doesn't become used up or destroyed. And so living sustainably means we can keep using it for a long time. Right now, people aren't living sustainably. We need to use our natural resources sustainably so we can keep living on the planet for a long time.